Welcome to the Flex Forward podcast, where grit meets growth. With your host, Nick Espinette, bringing you stories of resilience, reinvention, and the real climb to success.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Flex Forward podcast. Today, we are joined by Triwanna Fisher-Wikoff. She is a board-certified family medicine specialist in obesity medicine. Triwanna, can you let our listeners know a little more about you and about what it is you do in your clinic or in your day-to-day at your office?
Oh, yes. Thanks, Nick. Thanks for inviting me to this podcast. I'm Dr. Triwanna Fisher-Wikoff. I'm a family physician in Fort Worth, Texas, board certified in family medicine and also board certified in obesity medicine. And what I do is through my program, Shaman Obesity Medicine, is we provide a physician-led multi-specialty approach to weight loss, incorporating the four pillars of obesity medicine, which is nutrition, physical activity, medication, and behavioral health.
Oh, great. And I bet they're all so important. I've noticed as I've got older, I've kind of been the up and down, and as I've hit every decade, it's harder to get it off.
Yes.
In my 20s, I could be, put on some weight and then really focus and exercise and lose it. And every decade it's gotten, and I've learned, and maybe it's just my perception, but diet, because I exercise quite a bit, but for me, diet my intake is so much more important than my physical exercise part. Cause I probably work out 5 to 6 days a week. And if I'm not eating right, I'm gaining.
Right.
And that's important.
And that's what we're learning in this field of obesity medicine. It's more than just, eat less and exercise more. There's a whole complex pathophysiology behind obesity. And we've learned that this is a chronic relapsing condition, which means that, over the course of our lifespan, our metabolic rates are going to change how we process what we eat, changes our physical requirements as far as energy and energy intake and expenditure is going to change over time. And sometimes, whether it's environmental, genetic, hormonal, there's so many different facets to, why we gain weight, why we lose weight, why we maintain weight. All of that's just going to change over the course of our history over time.
And I would suspect emotional too, just kind of depending on what's going on in your life. Some people stress eat, or just emotion, when they're down, they may eat, and things like, or maybe when they're excited, they eat too. They're just all different people handle it in different ways. Well, that's awesome. It sounds like you guys are doing great things for your patients, and that's exciting that there is a focus on that now for people to receive help. Do you guys treat like excessively obese, or do you do just moderately? I don't know how I'm trying to phrase this politely, but are you doing people who are a little bit overweight, or just like dangerously overweight? Does that question make sense?
Yes. Okay. We treat the full facet of obesity. So in the terms of obesity, the definition, which is slightly changing now, is a body mass index, or like I like to refer, height to weight, is normal is anything between 18 to 25 kilograms per meter square. Okay. Anything between like 25 to 30 is considered overweight, and 30 and above is considered obese. And there's different classes of obesity beyond that.
Gotcha. Yeah, very well. So that's important, I think, even if you're slightly because it probably can snowball. But so in the medical, to become a physician, there's quite a bit of competition, and then specialized. What is something you felt like set you apart from others who may be pursuing it, or something that's, maybe you found easier that others found difficult as you've gone along your career path?
Well, especially when dealing with obesity medicine, my background is in family medicine. So in our training, we've been taught to look at the entire person and the entire generations of the person. So our mantra is from the cradle to the grave. So we'll see, some of my colleagues will see newborns, and they will continue to see patients up until their 90s, and even the centennials, as we like to call them. And with being in family medicine, you get to see a great generation of patients as well. And what I mean by that is, you're not only seeing the patient, but you're seeing their mother, you're seeing their father, you're seeing their cousins, you're seeing their children. So you get to learn the family dynamic and how that evolves into the patient that is sitting in front of you. And that gives me a unique perspective, especially when I have to consider the faceted approaches to treating somebody with obesity. Because I said, it's not just about the nutrition, it's not just about exercise, but it also is about the cultural aspects, about, how the family, eats, how they interact, how they manage to maintain some activity. Also, with being a family physician, is you also get to see, I said, a lot of the cultural aspects as far as, how food plays an important role in celebrations, how it plays a role, especially during stressful time, grieving times. And you can also see how food and exercise plays a part in their everyday physical activity, as far as certain cultures prefer to be, sedentary and sit and not do much, and therefore, their energy expenditure goes down, versus others tend to be more active. So being a family physician and being able to see all that and put all that together puts me in a unique opportunity to definitely allow my treatment approach to be multifaceted, versus, in this day and age where there's so many telehealth options, online options, where unfortunately you're standing in you're looking at a screen, you spend maybe 15 minutes, they write you a script and they say, good luck with your with your progress.
Oh, yeah.
Versus I get to sit down with you in person. We get to talk about the nutrition, we get to talk about the exercise, we get to talk about the medication, but I can also get a chance to say, well, how is your job going?
That's so
How
awesome.
how's that promotion fit in with your schedule? I understand, you had a cousin that passed away, a few weeks ago, and you were here to see me for depression. How are you coping with those stresses? And so all that puts me in a unique position to definitely treat obesity in a more unique
Well, and I think that sounds awesome. Something I never thought of is you said that you see the family. So I mean, if you're treating one person and you come up with a diet plan or exercise plan, activity plan, but you send them home and everybody else in the house is sedentary or eats completely different, it's hard. You kind of are the average of the people you're around. So if everybody in the house is eating a way you probably don't need to be, it's going to be a hard hill to climb. And
correct.
if everybody else is sitting, but if everybody else is getting out walking a little bit or involved in the exercise and bought into the change of diet, that probably makes it just so much easier. I mean, it's kind of, if you've got, say you're not supposed to be eating brownies or just some food that's a little bit is okay, but if they're there all the time, it makes it a lot harder not to eat them. So
Yes.
I have daughters that like to bake, and I'm like, oh, girls, we get. And then after Easter, we brought home a quarter of a carrot cake that was left over, and some banana pudding. My wife's like, all right, everybody get one last bite. It's going in the trash, because we know if it sits there, we're gonna graze on it all week, or maybe eat it all in a couple of days. But so we all got one last bite, and then it unfortunately, I hate to throw food away, but it's probably for the better for it not to sit there on our counter and wait on us to eat it.
Yep.
But it was a treat for Easter for us to have. So it's good stuff. So, if anybody's listening, what's something is there anything you have found that help that has helped you to with your achievement, be it books or something you've read, or podcasts, or somebody you've listened to, having a mentor, anything like that you can suggest to our readers? I mean, listeners. I've got readers on my mind.
It's okay. It's okay. Yes. So, I would not have gotten to this point, honestly, without learning how to step outside of my comfort zone. Especially, in family medicine, we're taught to be the jack of all trades,
Mm-hmm.
and not necessarily say, you know what, I think I want to, focus on more of this aspect within family medicine. And that's where, honestly, getting some good mentors to say it's okay to step outside of your comfort zone. Within my practice, I'm part of a much larger independent multi-specialty group called Privia Medical Group, and I have some great mentors who are still practicing, who have said, if this is something that you want to do and you want to pursue, and you find this is going to be your North Star, then definitely pursue it. Of course, make sure that patient care is not limited, which of course my patients are a great priority with me every day. So it's great to have someone who hasn't said, no, you can't do this. No, this seems too hard. No, this is not going to make money. What's in it for us? It's great to have people, especially up at the board level and at the leadership level, say that, yes, this is something that you can do.
That's awesome. And I think that getting out of your comfort zone is important to growing, because, we
Yeah.
can stay kind of in our narrow lane and be safe and not have
Mhm.
failure, and be somewhat comfortable. But it's, when you start stretching and feel a little uncomfortable, that you get better. So what is one of the biggest challenges you've had to overcome in your career path?
Um, in addition to stepping out of your comfort zone is being able to, if you fall, getting back up and trying again and taking a different approach, especially when you're going through medical school, to become a physician and to be a resident. Doctors are basically taught to kind of have this mentality of you keep pushing no matter what. But if you fall, let's say if you have a bad grade, or you don't get the specialty you want, or you have a bad patient outcome, then you're supposed to, kind of almost lie your own self-pity, but then force
Mm,
yourself to get back up after a while. Um, and that's something that, especially as young physicians, we kind of tend to take to heart. But what I've learned, especially over time and getting out of my comfort zone, is, what, it's okay to, make little mistakes,
mhm.
here and there. Of course, bad patient outcomes, no one definitely wants. But you know what? If that one bad business decision, it's okay, you learn from it. You move on. You make a wrong recommendation, at a business level or an organizational medicine level. It's okay, you move on. And there is nothing wrong with failure. There's nothing wrong with rejection. That's how you grow. That's something that makes you bigger than what you are now. And
Sure.
learning to embrace that has basically allowed me to open this practice to say, you know what, it's okay. I'm doing what I love for my patients. My patients love the opportunities that I'm providing for them to provide a multifaceted approach to treating obesity. And I just take it a day at a time and love it.
Well, that's awesome. That's learning from failure. I heard a good analogy the other day. Said, don't take it an L as a loss. Take it as a lesson. Like,
Yes.
some people says, "Hey, that's a loss." Like, no, it was a lesson. We're going to learn
Yeah.
from it, and because it's when you're doing things out of that comfort zone, they're not all going to work out. It's and so great, very well said. Well, it sounds like things are going well, and you're basically an entrepreneur within in the physician's world doing something. So it's a lot of entrepreneurs start having success, and you start thinking of other ways to potentially create income because
Mhm.
right now you've got to work for every dollar you're making. And me as a PT, before I got into real estate, I was a physical therapist and I had to change. But, a lot of people start thinking of other stocks or bonds,
Mhm.
real estate. Have you had any thoughts on creating income outside of your business?
Actually, I did. So, in my first few years of private practice, I was actually renting space over in the hospital, and after a few years, I said to myself, I would like more space. I would like to grow and expand. So I just looked at other areas where I could have my office, and I found a medical office building that actually turned out to be a great spot to move my practice. And what I've learned through some hard works and some ups and downs is rather than renting it, I ended up purchasing it.
That's awesome.
And which turned me from not just a physician but turned me into a landlord because I was renting the space and I was subleasing with other physicians as well. And I've learned through the practice of buying and purchasing real estate that I can do this again, and I can do this again. And at one point I had 3 office buildings and was a owner occupant and landlord.
That's
um,
awesome. Good. No, I'm in the real estate world, so I try to encourage everybody to, even if it's a single family home that
mhm.
you rent out or something, because the appreciation. I mean, you want to buy in the right area, but
Right.
if you buy in the right area, you're almost always going to have appreciation, and it's a great alternative to potentially just doing the stock market or having something like that. It gives you something different, and there's different levels. You can be the very hands-on landlord, or you can do it passively through different avenues. So great stuff. Glad to hear that you're doing it. So do you own any property now?
I was actually able to sell all of my properties, and now I'm turning what I've gained from that as far as the profits, moving those into other real estate ventures,
Oh, awesome.
and actually I'm starting my own real estate consulting company called Realty MD Consulting,
Oh, very nice.
specifically for medical professionals to guide them through the process of renting and purchasing their own medical real estate office for their own use.
Oh,
Uh,
that's awesome. Well, that may roll into this next question. What are any exciting, do you have any exciting initiatives or plans for the next 6 to 12 months?
yes, I'm actually working on a series of courses. So because, as physicians, we're running our practices, we don't necessarily, have enough time to, go out and, look for different properties or talk to
Mm-hmm.
different brokers. And there's a lot of nuances, opportunities, and even a few mistakes that, physicians do make along the way. So I putting together a series of courses so that physicians can purchase, because physicians, we don't have that much time. It's actually going to be a series of micro learning sessions. So you can take 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there to
Nice.
go step by step of everything that you need to do from start to finish, from um, planning your ideas as far as what you want in a space, creating the timeline, especially if you're in if you're in a lease or in a contract, with another landlord or even employed as a physician. Learning the tools for looking for the space, calculating your space, reviewing the lease itself, and making sure that everything seems appropriate, and that you're not getting marginalized or screwed by the
Yeah.
landlord.
What a great service. That's awesome.
Yeah,
Best of wishes on, best of luck on that.
thanks.
So, Triwanna, thank you so much for joining us today and sharing lots of great information for our listeners. If people would like to connect with you, what's the best way for them to do that?
Oh, yes. You can follow me on LinkedIn, Triwanna Fisher-Wikoff. Also, you can also email me at twikoff@txhealthcare.com. And also check out my website, which is Shemin Obesity Medicine. That's Shemin as in CHEMIN obesitymedicine.com.
Good
And
stuff.
also,
Thank you. Oh, go ahead.
and also on Facebook and Instagram.
Yep. Be sure and check her out. It's like she's got lots of great things going on, lots of stuff. I think you're going to help a lot of people in your medical practice and outside to help with the real estate stuff. That's awesome. And everyone, thank you for listening. Be sure to like and share and pass this along to others who might find it helpful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to the Flex Forward podcast. If you've got grit, growth, and a great story, visit flexforwardpodcast.com/guest to apply and join us on the show.